Hey gang, hello and welcome back to the Novice Lumberjack, where I'm driving back home to, at this point, Atlanta, Georgia. But we'll talk about that later. For right now, we got to talk about Sawfest 2024 and what that was like. I don't know what has come out on YouTube yet, but there was a lot of people there. A lot of competitors, not so many spectators this time, but a lot of competitors. I think there was over 40 competitors. I'm certain of it. Anyways, so I'm going to say some stuff, right? But you got to hear me out. I'm not knocking anybody. No. But a lot of folks got their asses handed to them, including yours truly. And it was freaking nuts. I have not seen this kind of competition ever. I'm not super into the chainsaw racing circuit or anything, but I've been to quite a few at this point, and normally there's only like 10 guys, and the top 5 are definitely apart from everybody else, but yeah, whatever. The lineup that I brought, I knew it wasn't amazing, and I knew that I wasn't gonna win or anything like that. I just come in to have fun, and it's all great, but I did figure I would get top 10 overall, and I haven't seen the numbers. I don't know if I did or did not, but I definitely do not think that I broke into the top 10. Not in overall anyways. I know that in 2 categories I did. In 2 categories, I was in the top 10. With the cheap saw, I was number 8, and with my 372 clone, I was number 8. The 372 clone last year, I was number 3. So that gives you a hint, okay, of everything. But with my lineup of saws 3 years ago, I probably would have been in top 5. But now, like I said, I don't think I was even in top 10. I'm hoping I got in top 20. My goal was to get 3 good cuts on every class, and I did. I got 3 good cuts, so I did not get disqualified in anything. So that's fantastic news for old Bodie. Because that was it. That was a big deal to me. It really sucks whenever you don't even qualify, right? So I got my 3 good cuts, and I had decent runs on everything except for the 6 cube, which really sucked because with that saw that Richard built for me, I was cooking. Even though on my cut up, I got halfway through the cookie almost, and I realized that I was cutting out, and so I dropped down and got another bite, and I still almost, I felt like I was coming for it. I was hunting down Morgan, who was right in front of me, and I think he got the 3rd place in that class. So that saw, I will say, had the power. If I had been a better operator, that saw had the power to place really well in that class. But anyways, but to give you an example of how absurd it was, nobody broke any rules or anything like that. My 50cc saw, Darkness 550 XP, that thing is hot. It spins chain, man. It is hot. I haven't had it dynoed, but it's somewhere around the 6 horse mark. Let's say it's 5.5. That is a strong 50cc saw. Now I bobbled my run a little bit, and I think I got like 10.4 or maybe 10.8 seconds or something like that. The leader of that class was in the 7-second range. And I was just like, what? What just happened? You know? It was absurd. How much faster people were. And not just new guys. Of course, new guys were showing up that had previously done some racing, a lot of racing. Like one of the guys, Clint, he hit the circuit pretty hard, I believe, and he can sharpen a chain. He's like one of the better guys out there for sure. But this is round file chain, but still his chain was cooking with gas. So anyway, so he had a lot going for him. But there was other guys there too. Nate, Jody, David, Jason. There's a lot of guys there that actually were good, really good. Of course, Kenny was there. But hell, Kenny, he's won it the last 3 years. He didn't even get top 3. I don't know where he fell. He had good runs too, mostly. He had a couple mess ups, but he did good. But I don't know if he was even top 5. And he has won it the last 3 years. So he's good. And he was running, I think, the same saws. So, over and over, it was nuts, man. And I finished one of the classes. I don't know what it was. And in my head, I was literally going, I need more talent. And then I go back and I hear Garrett is like saying, or no, it wasn't Garrett, it was Doug, Indiana Doug. Indiana Doug was like, man, I would have had it if I just, and we all do that, we all do it. Man, I would have had it if this, and then somebody, I think maybe it was Sean Carr, he said, yeah, I would have won if I'd had more talent and a faster saw. Exactly. That's what I need to get. I need to get more talent. Anybody know where I can buy that? I don't know. I don't think it's for sale. I think somehow you have to earn that, or just be born with it naturally. Causing me to work, Jeff. You're gonna cause me getting a wreck, Jeff. But anyways, got to get more talent. Just straight up, got to get more talent, because I had all but one of my runs was a decent run. I made little mistakes and stuff, but they weren't bad. Like with my 50cc, I can remember specifically afterwards, I was telling everybody, whatever time I got, there's an extra second for sure of me screwing around, because I couldn't quite get it. So anyways, I got to get more talent, and my saws have to be faster. And I'm pretty sure that they're never going to be able to compete, because I am not a meticulous person whenever it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, I've been called a perfectionist by a lot of people who have no clue. It's like, no, just because I can do this doesn't mean I'm a perfectionist. So anyways, and then it was after a particular race, I think it was after the 6 cube. Yeah, it was after the 6 cube. And I was really bummed, because that 395 that Richard built for me was so strong. I was pushing so hard, and I had an 8-pin sprocket on it. That thing could have pulled a 10. It was so strong. And I'd had a bad run with it, and I was like, that sucks, man. And I go back to my truck, and I'm taking the bar and chain off of things and stuff. And Smitty, he comes over, and he's like, yep, it's confirmed. I shouldn't have run the C83. I should have ran my own chain and blah, blah, blah. And I hope it didn't crush him or anything, but I was already dealing with my own insecurities and everything. And he's saying this, and I was like, what? You know, and I said, dude, your saws ain't good enough. And I was like, mine aren't either, you know. And you could throw any chain that you wanted on my saws, any chain you wanted, I still would have lost, you know. I mean, and Smitty's like, well, yeah, I know. I'm just trying to. I got to get better. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So do I. We got to get better, you know, because the standard that we have been dealing with, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're creating great work saws. I am creating fantastic work saws and then taking them to races. And used to, Sawfest was a work saw race with general population, you know what I mean? And it is not that anymore. It has become, there are some professional racers involved, and they have race saws. So, you know, it's a different ball game. Now, you can't change it. The race has become popular. People want to go to it and have fun and everything. You can't say, no, you can't be here and have fun with us. Why not? Because you're too good. Because that would be the excuse. You're too good. That's not it. You can't say that. You know, I mean, Nate, his name's Nate Blakesley, all right? He's a good racer. He is on point. And he showed up with saws that qualify for racing in that class, that were built by professional builders, you know. And it's changed. And now, okay, so here's the big question. If I could make it go back to what it was, would I? No. I loved it. It was fantastic. And I loved the competition. Yeah, it's heartbreaking sometimes. Absolutely soul-shaking. Especially my 366 clone build with the nitro and everything. The first run that I made, the saw wasn't running right. You know, I thought that maybe it had some air in the fuel line, and maybe it did, right? I thought that maybe Jason Egan came up and he told me, he's like, I think he had some gas left over. So, because gasoline will not mix with that nitromethane shit, okay? It won't mix. And so, it's just another fluid that's in there. And if it gets sucked up too, you get a problem, right? And so I'm doing my 3 cuts on the first time that I ran it, right? And then it picks up, and then I go to the uppercut, and then it picks up, and then the third cut, I finally was cooking, and I made a good clean cut. And everybody was like, yeah, you know, yours probably would have been top 5 had it not done that. And because the third cut really, wow, it woke up and came alive. So I really wanted to run it again. So I asked TW if he wanted a rematch. And it was really just because I wanted to run it again. You know, another $100 rematch. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And I swear, I thought I was going to blow him away. I thought that just like, I am going to rip through this. You don't even have a chance, dude. And so I told him, I was like, don't worry about the money. You know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And he's like, no. We'll do the $100. And so we got up there. We were doing the $100 bet. They let us do the grudge match thing. And I'll be damned, I still got beat. and I was just like, what the fudge, man? I lost every bet that I made this weekend, every time, man. I'm like, well, damn. But, that sucks because it always sucks to lose. But, I can't think of a better guy to give my money to, so it's all good, you know what I mean? High point of the show for me was I was just walking around to, see what everybody else has set up, just like, hey, how you doing and everything. And I can't remember who was sitting there with Morgan, but somebody was there with Morgan McGinnis, Appalachian saws. And I was talking with them, and Morgan, the guy's a loudmouth. He's just awful. He's just the worst. I'm teasing. So Morgan, he goes, hey, what you really need, Bodie, is this right here. And I looked over, and he had a brand new, never been fueled Solo 656. And if you watch the channel, you'll have heard me say, I had an opportunity in Poland. I was recently in the country Poland, and I had the opportunity to buy a brand new, on the shelf, Solo 656. But I had no idea the significance of that saw, and it was really expensive. And so I was like, I don't know. And so I chose to get this one over here, one of the new Polands. It's made in China. I didn't know that at the time because it says all over the internet that they're made in Austria. Designed in Germany, made in Austria. No, they're not. Bullshit. It's made in China. And anyways, I really regret not buying that Solo 656 in Poland. And well, there's one sitting right in front of me that's brand new, never been fueled, and he gives me a very reasonable price, and I was like, sold. So I am the owner of a Cherry 656, and the reason why there's some significance to that saw, it is because it is 100% Solo. It is not a Domar with Solo badging on it. It is a Solo. They do not offer that model in Makita or Domar at all, and that's fantastic to me, right? And and I've always wanted a saw ported by Matt House, because again, if you watch his channel, you know that Matt is like my hero. I love me some Matt House. He does amazing work, and he doesn't port very many saws at all. He's not seeking to do this so much. I mean, he might get paid for this. I don't know. We'll work out some deal, but he doesn't seek this out to do this for money or anything. He basically only does stuff that interests him, right? And so what better saw to have ported by Matt House than a very, very unique, hard to get Solo 656. And he gets to play with it and enjoy the build, because not many people on the planet have torn one of those things open and seen inside of it and stuff, let alone actually modified one. So that's very cool. So I get an awesome chainsaw. He gets an awesome project and gets to play with it and see what it can actually do. And, a lot of people were like, you're going to put gas in that thing? I was like, shit, yes, I am. I'm going to freaking port it. What are you talking about? Before Matt had taken it on, I was like, I'll probably port it before I even put gas in it, I see no reason. It's like, it's like having a gun you never shoot. It's like having a Ferrari you never drive. No, I'm not about that game. I want to run that thing and be like, this is awesome. So anyways, 56 cc's, 55 cc's, somewhere right there in that neighborhood. Totally expected to build up similar qualities to Husqvarna 357 XP, something like that. But it should be good, and I'm going to love it because I'll have my Matt House saw to add to the collection. So, but in other news, well, summarizing Sawfest, it was awesome. Had a great time. They took out all of the pass around the chainsaws and just cut this wood, and that was kind of a bummer. But overall, I'm glad it was gone because we could actually talk with each other, and we could actually just enjoy the day and have fun, and wasn't everybody just piss revving, because they do that, man. There's always somebody just fucking piss revving their goddamn saw, and it is annoying as shit. So we had to deal with very little of that because people were only doing that to tune their saw right before they raced, pretty much. So it's great, right? So I really liked what they did, the changes made for Sawfest this year. It was the best yet. Even if it was the most heartbreaking, it was the best. So now, on to life changes. Ladies and gentlemen, they accepted my offer. My wife took the job, and within the next couple months, my life is going to be turned upside down, and I am moving to Jamestown, New York. So we are all in the midst of buying a home. We got it all lined out. They accepted the offer and everything. It's all done except for all the bullshit you got to go through to actually make a purchase. And so wife took the job at a hospital there, and we are moving to Jamestown, New York. I am so stinking happy about it. Remember how I said that I have just never really fit in? I felt like I've never fit in the South. I just never fit in. I mean, I got some friends. I've met some good people. But for every one good person that I meet, there's 200 dipshits that I don't want to waste my breath on. So that's just the truth of it. All right. So if you met me and you know me and we had got along just fine, obviously you're the exception. But there's just a lot of people that I'm like, I don't want you in my life. Go away. And in Jamestown, I was told to go to a place called The Pub on Main Street or whatever and have a beef on weck sandwich. And it's just a roast beef sandwich, all it is. It's good, fine. But anyways, as soon as I walked in the South, you stand around, you don't know if you're supposed to sit down or if you're supposed to wait for somebody to come seat you. And so you'll be standing there like a dipshit, waiting at the door, looking around. I don't know what to do, right? And then eventually you just catch a waitress who's walking right past you and could look at you and go, just seat yourself anywhere. But they don't, because they're in the South and they're closed off assholes. And you got to grab her or him and say, hey, excuse me, should I seat myself? And they just don't even look at you, and they go, yeah, sit anywhere. That's my experience in the South, okay? And instead, I'm standing there for 2 seconds looking like a jackass, and the bartender, he's like, just sit anywhere you want, bub. And I go sit down, and he starts asking me questions. He's like, hey, so what's the deal? What's going on? And I tell him, I'm first brand new into town. My wife took a job. We're going to be moving here. Got to look for a house. And he goes, welcome to paradise. And, he asked me his name, and he was the first person to stick his hand out, and I shook his hand. And then the guy at the bar next to me, that's another thing. The customers, they would never talk to me. I don't know. The customer is like, hey, I'm John. I do this for a living. I work over here. And we just talked. Everybody was good, decent human beings, and were the most friendly people I have ever met in my life. I've never met anyone who was that ridiculously open and friendly ever. Until then, that at that moment. And it was fantastic, Now, I will say that has happened to me at events like these chainsaw events, and I've been very impressed with that and stuff, but it's different. I'm not a stranger. I'm into the same thing that they are into. Never have I been able to go in cold to a bar and everybody in the bar, the waitresses and everything, had interest in me and what was going on in my life, and almost giving high fives and going, "That's really cool, man. I can't wait to have you as part of this community." They were just so open and friendly. And I'm super, super looking forward to moving to Jamestown. That's going to be fantastic. And I found out right away, the guy that I mentioned earlier in this video, Nate, he lives like a half an hour from me. So I've already got a ready-made contact in the area. So fantastic, right? I spent 3 days up there, and over and over again, it was the same deal. I found out where the shady parts of the town were that you don't want to go. So there was a house over here, right? And to get to the hospital where my wife's going to work, it's over here. And well, the house was lovely. It was nice. But to drive to work, she went through the shittiest part of town. And so I was like, okay, no, not that spot. Same thing with over here, It's just like, oh, everybody out here, they're rough, They're rough. And so, yeah, there's bad. The town has some homeless people. And everybody complained about that. Oh, there's a lot of homeless. And I walking around, you remember I lived in Atlanta, so there's not a lot of homeless people. What there is a really small town with, 50 homeless people. I don't know. And so what it is you see every one of them. It's not that there's that many. You just see them all the time. You probably know them from first name. Oh, that's just Carolyn. Carolyn, she was the high school beauty queen, then she got hooked on crack. You know their stories and all that stuff. So in looking and doing this search to try and better our location and better our lives, my wife and I have learned that we cannot find any place inside the United States that is perfect. We can't find it. A place where you can get a decent job, you can live in a nice place out in the country, and all of your neighbors are fantastic and everything. That place just is fantasy. And so you have to realize that, well, yeah, there's going to be some homeless there. There's going to be some just trash people. Just trash people. It's people that you just don't want to waste your time on, right? But what's the ratio like? And the ratio up there seemed premium to me. Seemed very, very good. And I can't wait. All right? So, anyways, long video. Hopefully it ate up some time and you guys got to do something and listen to me babble, and it made your little task that you're doing while you're sitting there working on a chainsaw or mowing the grass or whatever it is you do whenever you listen to this Gabby mother trucker right here. Hopefully it made it go by a little faster. I'm out, guys.